Hi travelers, Tara here, Hidden Lotus Tarot, and I'm coming to you today with the general reading for Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising for October 2016. For those of you who are interested in booking a reading, or who may be interested in booking a reading or learning about my other services that I offer, you can go to the little eye in the right hand corner of the video. You can click that link, it'll take you directly over. I will say that if you are interested in booking a reading, before you go to the booking page, please read all of the important information on booking before you do, because it'll explain everything that you need to know, okay? Some people just go over and book, and then they wonder why they don't hear back from me quite quickly. It's because you got to go back and read that stuff. Had you read it, you would know exactly what I'm talking about. Um, I have been doing the other readings, and I've been seeing some very, very strange energies going on. It's quite, and I've been having kind of a time trying to interpret what it is that I've been seeing. Please don't email me and tell me, oh, you sounded so confused, let me explain it to you. No, that only works for you and your situation. So I don't need to know. But what we're dealing with, we did have Jupiter just leave our sign, and Jupiter has now moved into Libra. Libra is all about beauty, peace, harmony, and love. It is ruled by Venus. It is the co-ruler, as it is also the ruler of Taurus. So, but Libra is known traditionally in astrology as the house of marriage or the house of partnership. But basically what that means is it's the surface side of the relationship, how it's projected on the outside, how other people see your relationship on the outside, and the image of your relationship that you project to the outside world. That is why it's also known as the house of open enemies, okay? Because all of a sudden now, the real work that's done in the 8th house, the house of Scorpio, that's where real work in relationships are done, because that rules shared resources, sex, annuities, mortgages, those things that you share with other people. So Libra is ruled not only, it's also ruled by Venus, but so is Taurus. And so Taurus represents the things that you own yourself, self-possession. So there is on the wheel, there is the balance of the 7th house against the 1st house, okay? The house of partnership against the house of self, okay? And then there is the opposition of the 8th house against the 2nd house. The 8th house is shared resources. The 2nd house is resources that I have for myself. And so what I've been seeing in all of the readings, and including the personal readings that I've been doing, there are some changes happening in relationships. I think profound changes are happening. If they aren't happening, they will be occurring. This is not to say that everybody's going to break up, and this is not to say that everybody's going to find their soulmate. There's just some changes happening. And lest we not forget, the most important relationship that you can ever have is the one you have with yourself. So with that said, I did some pre-shuffling of the cards. There's something going on as well for Virgos, because when I started shuffling, I had a whole bunch of cards fly out. And I put them back in. The cards got really excited. I took them all back in and said, okay, don't get too excited. Let's try to do this in a Virgo orderly manner. These messages that that the cards will be conveying will not resonate with everyone, in which case, please check back to your moon and rising sign. In order to gain any clarity on your situation, it requires a personal reading. And what happens during a personal reading is I take your birth date and your sun sign, and I meditate on that. We ask the card some questions, and it can give you a little bit of clarity and insight into what's going on to you personally. This is general. There are millions of people out there with Virgo, sun, moon, and rising. Okay? So we know that the first card out was death. All right? And this is a ending and or a beginning or a transformation. So let's see how this plays out. I'm getting several messages. People say that Virgos are critical and nitpicky and, perfectionist. And I really don't see it that way. I think what people see as those things is that we are able to pinpoint weaknesses and deficiencies in systems and in things. And I'm kind of picking up that with this death card, there's some kind of transformation in the way Virgos will be viewed, in the sense that what people may have previously considered to be negatives. And that's not to say some people ain't just like that, where they ain't never got nothing nice to say, and they may be a Virgo, but everybody does that. You know, we know lots of people like that. I think that one of the messages I'm picking up is that there's some kind of change or shift occurring where the qualities or the things that Virgos are known for, and it's really about the house of service to others, small pets, nursing, health, design systems, looking at the way things fit together to work in a most expedient and practical manner. I feel that with the death card, there's some change that is going to come about in the way we are viewed in those particular aspects. I don't know why I'm picking that up. That may mean something to somebody out there. In the background of the death card, there are the two towers. I don't know if you can see those. They're way, way in the back here with the sun shining. And towers represent, you know, big power, big egos, big structures. But they can also represent downfall. Those can be looked at as the towers of Babel, the destruction. There's a light shining on those. So to me, it kind of speaks to some kind of change coming around, perhaps the environment, corporations, the way things are viewed from an ecological standpoint or a health standpoint, like a change in systems. That's really what I keep picking up, which is kind of odd for the death card. But, you know, hey, the cards work in a strange manner. And we're moving, it's a future of something. It's a transformation of a future thing. That's the direction in which the death card is moving. Let's put the rest of the cards down. I don't understand what that's telling me. The Rose of Purity. Nine of Swords. Page of Swords. Temperance. Queen of Swords. Queen of Cups. Ace of Pentacles. Two of Cups. Four of Coins. And then the Five of Coins. Right in the center, I have a Queen of Swords. Now, this represents Libra. And we are reading, this reading is for October. But I'm looking at a transformation here. And I know us Virgos can be worry-warts. We worry about everything. That's just who we are. We don't mean any harm by it. I can tell you that much. But literally what this is saying is that there's going to be a change or a transformation, not necessarily in the way you communicate with others, but in the way you're going to be communicating with yourself. Okay? There's a transformation in, if not the type of communication you're going to be having with yourself, then the quality of it. Okay? This card speaks to fears and anxieties and phobias, worries. But the death card said that shit's already over. So what's the worry? What's the fear? What's keeping you up at nights? It's almost like it's saying there's a fear of what could be coming, some news or message that could be coming. There's a fear of it. But there really should be no fear, because death has already said that it's transformed, whatever that means. Now we can see again here death, the Temperance, and the Ace of Pentacles. So whatever this thing was that has ended or that has come in, let's say presently we're healing from that, and we're trying to perhaps figure out how to integrate or recombine or reconcile our passions and emotions with what we know to be logically or to be logical about. Remember that the swords are perceptions and thoughts. And maybe this is about trying to regain like regain your footing. And I say that because we have the Temperance. She's the angel's barefoot. But the Queen of Swords is about a truth. Now, truth is subjective. Yes. So what is my truth is not your truth. It doesn't make either of them less true. It just simply means that my truth is not your truth. And she is holding up this sword of truth, the Ace of Swords, towards this Queen of Cups. And we can see that the Queen of Cups is really focused on self. That's what that cup says. I'm interested in whatever it is that I'm feeling. I'm only interested in that. Doesn't mean that I don't care, or it doesn't mean that I don't love you, or it doesn't mean that I am interested. I'm not interested in whatever it is you have to say. Simply that I'm focused on my own self or my own needs right now. But something should be said. There should be some reconciliation of the two. Air and water are two very, very different properties with two very, very different energies. And then I have this Ace of Pentacles. And I could look at this and say to you, yes, this is a gift that's going to come to you on the earthly plane. If I'm going to look at this Two of Cups, it could be like you're going to have some kind of gain through a new partnership. One that perhaps you feel or that you fear may not come to fruition. Maybe one that you thought didn't have any chance of surviving. But the ace, none of the aces are just things that the universe is going to hand to you and say, here you go. Okay? There has to be a change in the quality of whatever these swords are talking about. And I say that because I have the Four of Pentacles here. And in a way, it's kind of like, and believe it or not, now we know that death, nobody can cheat it. But if you look, death has come. There's a truth of it. But then there's a hold on it. Not that death is being cheated. Let's say it's being delayed. This transformation is being delayed. It's being delayed because somebody is not willing to share either their and or emotions and or their finances or physical self. Two queens. Now, I don't know if this is speaking to a same-sex relationship or if it's speaking to both people coming from their feminine energies. If this is a heterosexual couple, um, one person being more rational and more decisive than the other person. As we can see here, it's like there's a message coming in like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and do this, but there's a hold on it. I want to do this, but there's a hold on it. But it looks as though here there's a transformation coming for this person. But there's something else that has to be done first, I think, before they have to first take their eyes off of the cup so that they can look up and see that there's something being offered to them. And indeed, I do feel it is a relationship, a Two of Cups. But someone is trying to, I don't know, deny the inevitable, whatever that means. And then we have this Five of Pentacles. Now, there's two ways to look at this card. This could be either, somebody cutting off contact with you. It goes from a 4 to a 5. Or it could be that you yourself are just like, I don't even know what the hell's going on, so I'm just going to book it. And now you've isolated yourself. Either way, it speaks to being in a space where you don't even recognize that there's a place of refuge and that there is something solid and tangible here. Those are the two fours right there. They go from someone hanging on to them quite dearly to stacking up to something that's solid. And there's a fifth one there. There it is right there. Let's go to the cards, to the Sibilis. Now, if this is you, Virgo, and you're saying, look here, I done did all I can do, and, all I want is the truth. I know what the truth is, but then there's some doubt. There's some fear that maybe this won't come about. And it's like someone is denying the truth of a situation so that the situation can transform itself. I don't, whatever that means. I think that on this line, that truth in one aspect has already been realized. But on another one, someone's denying the truth. They're not even paying attention. They don't even see the truth in front of them. They don't even know that death has come for them. And that if they embrace it, they can move through it. There's a block here. Okay, let's take a look and see what this Queen of Swords is all about. I just noticed there's two major arcanas, and the two major arcanas, this is Raphael, the Archangel of Love, and this is death. And this is a transformation of love, through love, about love. But it's on a spiritual level. That's why I think we've got this opportunity is not being taken, it's being blocked. This is illness of an uncertain origin, and there's somebody thinking about either this, it's respect for a married woman. So if this is about a secret romance, could be, or someone who's nurturing, but there's a spiritual illness here that's going on surrounding this person and this person. Let's ask why this Queen of Cups is, in a sense, oblivious. And you know, in one respect, it's like, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. Let's just pull the cards. It's like it's purposely someone's not focusing on what they need to be focusing on, as if they can't bring themselves to look at the truth. They can't face the truth. Maybe the truth hurts too much. Get the cards back right. That's why the healing has come. Let's see, why is this Queen not focused on, what's this Queen focusing? It's like the Queen's waiting for something. The Queen is, this is the card of solitude and privacy, intimacy and communications. Maybe this is what the Queen is focusing on. But you notice there's nobody in the room. Speranza, hope, and then messaggere, news from afar. So it's like someone intently focused on, and again, this could be about messages coming, the quality of the communications that you have with yourself. And I say that because this Queen is focused on the cup. It's almost like there's an ending and you're like, oh, you're worried about it, but then it's something comes in to tell you that there's not an ending. I think it's just a transformation. It could be a time of transition. There's a transitional period here. Someone feeling in one respect that them holding on to their position is really in the long run the best thing for them. That's how they're going to maintain their security. I don't think it's an accident that it's 4 coins with the safe, with an eye to, that's how I'm going to maintain. I'm not even going to make a move. And they're focusing on their own cup. But right now, at present, their great plans of foresight for this security has gone up in flames. It has become a misfortune in some way, shape, or form. And that is why perhaps we have the 5 of Pentacles come out. Let's just take a quick look. As if someone's afraid to take a true look at what that is or what it's all about. I'm telling you, it don't read like it's over, people. That's the leading card. Had it come down here, I would have said, okay, that, and with this card, I've been like, that's just over and done with. It's not over. I think it's a transitional period, but one in which there's going to have to be some sacrifices. In a real world sense. That's what the coins are going to, that's the, you know, that, and the coins are speaking to, it has to be done that way. Okay, it has to be. On the earthly plane, that it has to be. But the implication is that through that, you're going to be able to reach another spiritual level. That's a church window there with the 5 coins in it. So it's like you're going to have to lose something to gain something. Now, for some of you, and I don't know if this is Virgo males or whomever's going to take the role of the Virgo male, I see an il nemico, a rival, who has stolen something. And maybe walking away, you're going to revisit that. But at the same time, if this is you, Virgo male, or if this is a Virgo female and you're dealing with whatever this situation is, someone returning to, I think, old behaviors or old patterns. And I say that because of the pattern on the window. It's something they've always done. They have an opportunity to do it new, but they're continuing to dig their heels in. Earth, Pentacles, someone who's stubborn and won't move. So you can see it's like they are returning, they're stolen, they're creeping in on the same way of returning. Okay, they return back to the same way that they were before. I don't know if that made any sense. I'm trying to, they're trying to tell me to explain it in a better way, but you see, because this, what I mean by that is that this could be the card of somebody feeling like, oh, woe is me. How come every time I try to blah, 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 I feel like I've been ripped off or I've been kicked to the curb? But really that's coming from themselves. They themselves are robbing themselves of an opportunity to move past. Because again, the implication is that if you would stop feeling sorry for yourself and playing the martyr, what you need is right there. It may not be exactly in the package that you expected it to come in, but it's right there. Now, that's what I have for you. I do hope those messages help Virgo, Sun, Moon, and Rising. And until next time, Namaste.